I use the shelter every once in a while for food and food bags and stuff like that. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, they give food bags to the community, so anybody can come in and they sign up and they give the food. And usually there's beans, cereal, macaroni, corn. That's usually what I get, so it's pretty good, pretty good. When I stayed here at the Bangor Area Homeless Shelter, they helped us any way they could. That's the one thing I love about the shelter. They will help you any way they can, but you have to do it yourself. You have to do some things yourself. You want to look for an apartment, you got to do it yourself. I mean, you'll have caseworkers here that will help you, but you need to help yourself too. It's a very community-based program. It's very good. It's very good. Staff here do a very wonderful job for people. My apartment now, it's good. I like it. I made a home out of it, so it's home. It's a roof over your head. It's better than on the streets. I like it. I like it. I got my posters up and stuff like that. It's good. It's good. Some people say it's small, but it's efficiency. But it's good. What's important to me in life is to get up every day, go to work, support your family, love your family, come home, have a home-cooked meal on the table, and just love your family and your friends, because you never know what's going to happen to them. Be nice to everybody. Be courteous. Be respectful. It's the way I live my life. I respect everybody I'm around. I try to make friends out of everybody I meet. I'm very courteous to everybody I meet. And that's why I think I have a lot of friends.
My wife and I, from time to time, will volunteer at the shelter, and it was Thanksgiving that year, and we were there early preparing the food, and we stayed throughout the morning for a while as people began to filter in and have their meal. And I remember I had stepped out of the kitchen and into the main portion of the dining hall, and this older man came up to me and he tapped me on the shoulder and he asked me, would it be okay if I had seconds? But before I could answer, he said to me, well, I just want to really make sure, though, that everyone gets their fill. I don't want to have more unless, I'm sure that everyone's going to get their share. And I said, I'm sure it'll be fine. Go ahead and have your seconds. But it was such a touching moment, because here's a man who had little or nothing, concerned about people who had little or nothing. And so that was just a special time, special moment. The benefits for having a strong support system for the homelessness here in eastern and central Maine are many. It keeps people off the street. It keeps them from getting in trouble. It keeps them from causing discomfort to those who do not understand homelessness. They're just fighting to stay warm. They're looking for a place to lay their head. They are looking for a warm meal, and they're looking to get their lives back on track and rediscover dignity. And they do that through the help of the Bangor Area Homeless Shelter, and they do that through hope.
Before I came to the shelter, I was living with a friend in Orono. I wasn't working, and I decided I would get out because he didn't have a lot of money. He had enough out to take care of himself versus take care of somebody else. So I thought it was time, go to a shelter, see what I could do for myself, find some work. And I did. I found a job. Some days I worked in Old Town at a bakery, and some days I work lobstering. I started picking the meat out. Now I've moved up to making sure everybody has lobster on their table to pick apart, and I empty their lobster shells. But it's a job. It's a job, and I like it. I like it real well. And I bust my butt every day. I want to keep this job. I want to keep it so bad. I saved up some money so I could get a place. I'm now in my own spot, which I'm so happy. Rowena got this apartment for me. She said, I kind of got something in store for you. And I said, okay, I'll wait. And sure enough, she did. She got me a little place. It's a little one efficiency bedroom. Love it. It's just right. And that's where I am, and hopefully that's where I'm staying for a while, so loving it. Oh, they do nice meals, yes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, very nice. They 6:30 in the morning, it's breakfast, and noontime every day is lunch, and dinner is at 5. Lunch is for everybody. Breakfast is for the residents, for everybody that lives here, and supper. is for everybody that lives here, but lunch, you can come in and have dinner if you want. They're very cool. All depends on what you get for donations, what they put out, but they do very well. No one's lost any weight, so, you know, I think they do all right. I just want to donate some time. I want to help them out. They help me out. I want to kind of pay it back. I guess that's how you say it. I want to help them out. They've done a lot for me. Chores, they have a chore list. Sweeping, mopping, dishes, serving food, and everyone chips in. Don't take no time at all. For what they do for you, that's the least you can do. You come here without a pair of shoes on, they got stuff downstairs, they'll go find you a pair of shoes. It's just amazing the stuff they'll do for you. It's the clothes downstairs, there's food in your belly. I mean, you come to the door, they'll get you something to eat. That's no lie. Anybody, they'll feed you. They set you up with, there's all kinds of programs. You gotta wanna be helped though too. They ain't gonna let you sit on your ass and they do all the work. But if you wanna be helped, yeah, they'll help you out. You might have to wait a while, but just keep cool and stuff eventually will come. What's important to me right now in my life? I got a job, I got a place to live, my health's pretty good, friends, people you can rely on if you need a helping hand. I miss the people. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna donate my time. Why not? I can't wait. On my days off, I'll come here and do something. Whatever they want me to do, I'll do it.
I've done mental health work, worked in the social services field for many, many years, and I love this job more than any other job I have ever had. It is so rewarding, sad at times. It's just every level that you could imagine of emotional involvement, which sometimes can be difficult to deal with. I do hear a lot of sad stories. Sometimes if we have to ask someone to leave, it can sit with you because, you know, it's people's lives. And to tell them they don't have a place to stay that night can sometimes be a difficult thing to do, and then you have to try not to take those things home with you. Part of it is also compartmentalizing, because some of the people with criminal records that we have here, they aren't always nice crimes that they've committed, obviously, if they're crimes, but, and those, you know, sometimes you have to kind of set that aside so you can continue to do good work with people.
An individual who has a problem with addiction is more than an addict, so much more. But when we say they're an addict or when we say they're mentally ill, that's really limits all that they are. And I think when we do that, we do a great disservice to them and to the potential and ultimately to our community. I know a lot of people that have had those issues that bring incredible richness to our community in a very, very positive way.
Before I came to the homeless shelter, I had just gotten out of Penobscot County Jail for a theft having to do with my drug addiction. I inject speed and opiates, and I'm addicted to the opiates more than the speed, but I do both. And I was just looking for somewhere to stay, basically. I have a weird family situation, and I've burned a lot of bridges with my drug use in my past and stuff, and it's really not an option. I'm pretty much on my own at this point, and pretty much everybody's kind of washed their hands of me, so. From the time I first got here to the shelter, I just started staying here and went through a rough patch where I kept using and got kicked out a few times, and eventually I got back in their good books and got back in, and then I started working, and I work at Labor Ready. I do day labor. I stayed here for about 4 or 5 months altogether, and at the end of that time I went to a rehab. When I got back, they helped me with general assistance and getting an apartment, and you know, they help me with things all the time now, like laundry vouchers or bus tickets and stuff like that sometimes, and you know, If I could describe the shelter to somebody in Bangor who didn't know anything about it, I would just say it's a place to get back on your feet, and if you follow the rules, the people here will really help you and work with you, and if you don't, they won't so much, and they'll at least match you and how much effort you put in. They'll help you just as much as you help yourself. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. I still struggle with drugs and stuff, and I've kind of letting myself, fall back in my old ways and stuff. Yeah, and I can't save any money, and I can't, lost control of everything really, so they're basically the only people I have to talk to about that kind of stuff.
I think that governments at all levels can really play an important role in decreasing the level of homelessness or even ending homelessness. I think that all too often we look at problems with a short-term view rather than a long-term view. We don't really adequately quantify the cost to society of not dealing with a problem or of not spending the money that we need to up front to address an issue.
We know how to end homelessness. We just don't have the political will, I think, at times to make those choices. We know what works, we know what's most cost effective, we know what's most humane, and we just have to have the political will and a redeployment of resources. I'm not even sure that it would cost more. I think it would be spending the resources differently, and certainly it would be more humane to do it in a different way.
When we do things like closing state-run mental health institutions, forcing people out onto the street, we end up with people who self-medicate with drugs. They often then have a higher crime rate because they need money to satisfy that drug need. All of those things have a much higher cost to society than what we would have paid if we addressed the problem up front before it was out of proportion for that person.
The people that work at the Bangor Area Homeless Shelter, the services that are provided, I think they do a great job of meeting the need. And the need is a place for someone to come in out of the cold, to come in out of the weather. It's not a place to live. And I think the staff there recognize that and walk that fine line of being the calm in the storm, but not the solution. They are a step on the process. They aren't the end. They aren't the destination. And I think because they recognize that, it really does guide their work. It, I think, influences the culture that exists there, where people are expected to use it as a safe place to launch from, not as a place to hide or not as a place to give up, but as a place to just re-engage. And I think they do that incredibly well.